In this video, we'll set up the standard project intake form for manual project creation. If you're following Waterfall, Workback, or Scrum Agile frameworks for your project management, then getting started in Amazon Projects means getting your project intake set up. All projects start somewhere. In an AP, they start in project intake. Click the orange Create New Request button to open the default intake form. It already asks many common questions about a proposed project, including the project's name, type, expected savings, a description, a due date. These may not be the right questions for your team, and you will need to collect different information in order to properly assess new project ideas. You may need to know the project sponsor, or the product line, or the site code. This intake form needs to be modified to exactly meet your needs. Let's go through the 3 steps to customizing your project intake. Your first step is to modify the data fields, or list columns, to collect the right information. This is done in the list settings. Here you will find 73 columns available for use in your intake form. Most of these columns can be changed to suit your requirements, though few are control columns and should not be modified. Request reference, for example, is an automatically generated ID and should be left as is. Leadership goal, however, is designed for you to align projects to particular goals established by your leadership team. The choices here should be changed to represent the goals of your org. If a data column is not relevant in your situation, such as expected savings, you can delete it entirely, or better, choose to remove it from all views by clicking Column Visibility Settings and then deselecting its appearance in all forms. There are lots of pre-built columns you can use of various data types. These are by default not displayed in the intake form. By changing their names and choosing to display them, you can quickly update your intake form to collect the information you require. For example, if you need to know the site code where a project takes place, you could modify a single line of text column to site code, and then change the column visibility settings for it to show in all forms. Or, if you need to collect the budget spend for a project, change your currency column to budget spend and allow it to be seen in all forms. Always add a helper question in the description section so users will know exactly how to respond to each data field. Select whether or not the information is required. Scroll toward the bottom of the list page settings to access the column ordering feature to place each column in its logical order. Go back to the dashboard and look at the form to see your changes. You may repeat this adjustment process many times to get your intake form right. You have the ability to create powerful custom forms which can dramatically affect user experience. Custom forms can be colorful, respond logically as different choices are selected, and group columns into boxed sections. We'll cover custom forms in another video and instead just focus on the standard form, which is easy to use. You can choose to send simple pre-built emails to requesters as their intake items change status. You can choose the initial status that each intake item will have when it is first filed. If you're just collecting project ideas that will be processed later, select Backlogged. If you require an approval of new submissions, then select Pending Approval. If all intake items will become projects and there's no saying no, then select Approved. For our purposes, we'll choose Pending Approval. Projects can be manually created as each one is assigned and work started, or created automatically upon approval. We'll focus here on the manual creation of new projects and address automatic project site creation in another video. Configure settings really means configure the process you'll follow to create projects. Of the 9 settings available, we are only interested in the last one, Create Project. The others are for more nuanced intake processes and are best addressed in consultation with the AP team. On the Create Project Settings page, there are only 2 sections that require your input. Parent Site. You must select the parent site where all your projects will be built. Click the blue browse box, hit Enter or Return on your keyboard, and then select Project Office. This means that all new projects will be created as subsites in the Project Office and will show up in your portfolio reports. Project Template. Now select the project template you plan to use for your projects by clicking the blue browse box and selecting the project template. All new projects will be built using this selected template. Click Finish. You're now ready to create your first test intake item and project site. Return to the dashboard, click Create New Request, enter sample data into every column, and click Save. Your new project request will appear in the Requires Attention report below. Click to open the new submission, select Approve, and then click Create Project, create a new project site, and finally Finish. The system will make a copy of your chosen template and then transfer all the information entered on the intake form into the new project site. This process takes about a minute, and you'll then find it in your project office. Your next step will be to ensure that your chosen project template is set up exactly the way you wish to work. You can follow the instructions in the user guide to do that. Project intake may be a critical process for your team and a key reason why you chose to use Amazon Projects. The options are many in AP and may involve the integration with other Amazon systems, custom forms and landing pages, and complex routing and approval procedures. If you have special requirements, contact your CSC on the AP team to discuss your particular use case. We have helped thousands of Amazonians build exactly what they need in Amazon Projects. As always, if you get stuck or have questions, feel free to contact us for help.